So vote counting continues in the USA, and we go now to Wisconsin, which, if Joe Biden wins it, could be one path for him to reach the White House. We also go to Florida, which Donald Trump has already won. And I'm joined by Will Denselow in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Giles Gibson in Tallahasee, Florida. Hi to both of you. And I just want to start with you, Will. Simon Marks told us about an hour ago that Wisconsin was looking more and more in Biden's favor. Could you give us the very latest from your area?
Absolutely. Well, there's nothing official from the Election Commission here in the state of Wisconsin. They're saying they're going through the process of triple checking the ballots to make sure everything is in order. But the message from the Democrats here in Wisconsin is a very positive one indeed. I was speaking earlier to Chris Wharton, who's the chair of the Democratic Party here in Milwaukee County. Now, he said to me that we will win Wisconsin. He said that it'll then lead eventually to a win for Joe Biden at the White House as well. That's a message very much reiterated by the chair of the Wisconsin Democrats in the whole of the state here as well. Very optimistic. Now, during the election night, as the ballots came rolling in, it seemed that President Trump was in a very strong position, but at around 4 or 5 a.m. local time here, there was a huge tranche of absentee ballots right here in the Milwaukee area, predominantly in favor of Joe Biden. Now, as things stand, according to Democratic predictions, he's currently up by around 20,000 as things stand. The Democrats are certainly optimistic that that will remain pretty much secure, but of course, absolutely nothing is official there. And there's certainly no sign of Republicans ceding this critical race, as, of course, these ballot checks do completely continue.
And let's head over to Florida. Giles, that's where you are in Tallahassee, and we know that Trump has already won this key state. Clearly, all his rigorous campaigning paid off.
Yeah, that's right, Sally. We talked a lot going into Election Day, didn't we, about how important the Latino vote was going to be in deciding this critical state with its 29 electoral college votes. And it appears that the Trump campaign have managed to persuade enough Latino voters to come over to their side to get them over the line. We haven't had official figures from the election authorities here in Florida yet, but we do have some exit polls from NBC News, for example, showing that Donald Trump won 55% of the Cuban-American votes, a lot of those voters down in South Florida, and then 48% of people who describe themselves as other Latinos. Throughout the campaign, we saw the Trump administration launching this blitz of advertising, especially in South Florida, targeting Joe Biden and calling him a socialist and somebody who is soft on the Castro regime in Cuba. Of course, the Biden campaign spent millions of dollars trying to counter that narrative, but the narrative put out by the Trump administration appears to have got them over the line with that really important group of voters, Latinos, who make up almost 20% of the registered voters here in Florida.
Will, back to you in Wisconsin. So, as you were saying, it's looking a little bit more in Biden's favor. Let's talk about Biden's potential route to the White House, because despite Donald Trump calling it hours ago, the reality is there is still a path for Joe Biden to the White House. My understanding is it goes with Wisconsin and Michigan. Just tell us a little bit more about how it could shape up.
Absolutely. Well, the Democrats are hoping that what we've seen in Wisconsin, or what we're starting to see in Wisconsin, potentially as far as they're concerned, could be emulated in Michigan. Of course, so many thousands of votes still to be counted in that state. But there is some optimism from Democrats, considering the fact that many of those absentee ballots will be coming through Wayne County. Now, that includes the major city of Detroit, that's historically a Democratic stronghold. Of course, the hope is that a huge tranche of those absentee ballots will come in favor of the Democrats, will help them get over the line and will help them seek those 16 electoral college votes in that state as well. Message from some is that if the Democrats win states including Arizona as well as Nevada, that could see them essentially over the line without worrying about the results in states like Pennsylvania. But of course, that is a massive caveat that there's still so far to go. All those states are being reported as too close to call. So while that is certainly an avenue to the White House, that road and that avenue is by no means entrenched, and there's still plenty of fight left in this race.
Yeah, and Giles, back to you in Florida. By last count, what I saw is that in terms of the Electoral College votes, Trump had 213. Biden was on 238. Trump has got Florida. What would his route back to the White House be?
Well, I think it's really important to consider the different significance of Florida for the two different campaigns. Heading into Election Day, it was pretty sure, according to a lot of the experts and the political analysts in Washington, that Donald Trump really needed to win Florida, get its 29 electoral college votes in order to get closer to that magic number of 270 electoral college votes. Of course, the Biden campaign will be very disappointed after spending millions of dollars blitzing advertising all across the state that they didn't manage to capture Florida and its 29 electoral college votes. But certainly the Trump administration, or the Trump campaign rather, will be very satisfied that they've managed to hold on to the support among senior citizens and also persuade those Latino voters, especially the Cuban Americans that I was talking about, to come over to them. Really, for Joe Biden, the significance of Florida was not as high perhaps as with Donald Trump. There are other routes for him to get to 270 electoral college votes, including, of course, in Wisconsin, where Will is.
Well, thank you very much, Giles Gibson in Florida and Will Denselow in Wisconsin. And a beautiful day in both states, I have to say.